Ladies and gentlemen, there is a question many young men ask today. What does it mean if I have no girlfriend? Some think it means they are lacking something. Others believe it is a sign of failure. But I want to challenge that mindset today. A man without a girlfriend is not a man without value. He is not a man without direction. He is a man in a season of preparation. The most dangerous thing in life is not being alone. It is being unprepared. Because when a man does not know who he is, he will seek validation in places that were never meant to define him. A woman does not complete a man. God already completed him when he gave him purpose. Before you think about a relationship, ask yourself, who am I? What am I called to do? What is my vision? Because until you answer these questions, you are not ready to lead, to love, or to build with another person. Adam was given work before he was given a wife. He had a purpose before he had a partner. The problem today is that too many men are searching for a girlfriend before they have discovered their assignment. And when you don't know your assignment, you will attract distraction. If you are a man without a girlfriend, do not be discouraged, be intentional. Use this time to build yourself, strengthen your character, develop your gifts, find your purpose. Because the right woman is not looking for a man who is searching for love. She is looking for a man who is walking in purpose. Your value is not in your relationship status. It is in the fulfillment of your destiny. So if you are a man with no girlfriend, let it be because you are becoming a man with a vision. Because when you find purpose, the right person will find you. Thank you. There is a misconception in society today that a man without a girlfriend is incomplete. Many young men are pressured into believing that their worth is tied to their relationship status, that being single means something is wrong with them. But that is far from the truth. A man who is single is not a man who is lacking. He is a man in a season of preparation. Every season in life serves a purpose, and being single is no different. The time without a relationship is an opportunity to build, to grow, and to refine oneself. It is the time when a man should focus on his identity, his purpose, and his vision for the future. Before a man can be in a successful relationship, he must first be a successful individual. If he does not know who he is, what he stands for, or what he is called to do, he will bring confusion into any relationship he enters. The worst thing that can happen to a man is not being single. It is being unprepared when the right opportunity or person comes into his life. A relationship should never be a place where a man seeks to find himself. Too many young men rush into relationships hoping that a woman will give them direction, confidence, or validation. But a woman is not responsible for defining a man's identity. That is his own responsibility. A man must first understand his role, his vision, and his mission in life before inviting someone else to walk alongside him. If he does not know where he is going, how can he expect someone to follow? When a man is single, he has a unique advantage. He has time to work on himself without the responsibilities of a relationship. He has time to invest in his skills, his mindset, and his spiritual life. He has time to develop discipline, character, and emotional stability. These are the foundations that will support his future, whether in business, in leadership, or in marriage. A man who uses his season of singleness wisely will enter his next season strong and prepared, rather than weak and lost. History and wisdom teach us that great men were not shaped by relationships, but by their purpose. Before any influential leader, entrepreneur, or visionary found love, they first found themselves. They discovered their strengths, overcame their weaknesses, and embraced their mission. A man who has not yet discovered his mission should not be looking for a girlfriend. He should be looking for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because when a man finds purpose, he becomes attractive, not only to a potential partner, but to opportunities, success, and impact. Society often glorifies relationships, making men believe that having a girlfriend is a status symbol or a measure of worth. But a man who chases relationships without first chasing growth will end up frustrated, unfulfilled, and confused. He will move from one relationship to another, seeking something that he can only find within himself. Relationships do not fill the void of self-awareness. They only expose what is already inside. If a man enters a relationship without direction, he will not find direction there. he will only bring instability into the lives of both himself and his partner. A man's time of singleness is when he should be learning how to lead, how to make wise decisions, and how to take responsibility for his actions. Leadership does not begin in a relationship. It begins in personal discipline. How a man manages his time, his money, his emotions, and his goals while he is single determines the kind of leader he will be in a relationship or marriage. A man who does not know how to control himself cannot expect to lead a family. A man who has no vision cannot expect someone to trust and follow him. If a man truly desires to have a meaningful relationship in the future, he must first prepare himself to be a man worth following. Too often men want a good woman without becoming a good man. They want loyalty without proving that they are worth being loyal to. They want love without understanding the responsibility that love requires. A relationship is not about getting something, it is about giving. And a man who has not prepared himself will have nothing to give. This season of singleness is also a time to strengthen faith, values, and principles. Every great man is defined by what he stands for. Without strong values, a man will be swayed by emotions, desires, and external pressures. He will compromise his standards for temporary pleasures. But when a man builds himself on unshakable principles, he becomes a pillar that others can rely on. A woman is not looking for a man who is still searching for himself. She is looking for a man who is confident in who he is and what he is called to do. A man should never waste his season of singleness wishing it away. Instead, he should embrace it as a divine appointment for growth. He should invest in his personal development, study wisdom, and surround himself with mentors who will challenge him to become better. He should take care of his health, build his career, and develop the mindset of a leader, because when the right time comes, when the right woman arrives, he will not have to search for his worth in her. He will already know who he is. This time is not a punishment, it is not a delay, it is preparation. And a man who understands this will not rush into a relationship for the sake of companionship. He will wait until he is ready to give, to lead, and to love with purpose. Because a relationship built on preparation will always be stronger than one built on desperation. A man's greatest mistake is seeking companionship before discovering his purpose. Many people today are taught that being in a relationship is a sign of maturity or success, but this is not true. A relationship is not what makes a man complete. His purpose does. Before a man considers entering into a relationship, he must first understand why he was created, what he was designed to do, and where he is headed in life. Without purpose, a relationship is directionless. Without vision, a man cannot lead. And a relationship without leadership is destined for confusion and frustration. One of the biggest problems in relationships today is that men enter them without understanding their identity. They seek love before they have discovered their mission, and as a result, they place unnecessary pressure on their partners to fill a void that only purpose can fill. No woman can complete a man who has not completed himself. No relationship can give direction to a man who does not know where he is going. When a man does not know his purpose, he will look for validation in a relationship. But no relationship can define a man. Only his vision can. Throughout history, great men were not defined by their relationships first, but by their assignments. Before any leader, entrepreneur, or world changer found love, they first found themselves. A man who does not yet know his calling should not be looking for a relationship. He should be looking for wisdom, knowledge, and clarity. Because when a man understands his assignment, he will not just attract a partner, he will attract the right partner who aligns with his vision. A woman is not looking for a man who is still searching for himself. She is looking for a man who has discovered his reason for being and is actively walking in it. The order of life is clear. First purpose, then partnership. When a man finds his purpose first, he is able to bring stability, direction, and leadership into his relationships. He does not need a partner to give him significance because he already knows who he is. He does not need constant affirmation from someone else because he is already secure in his identity. But when a man enters a relationship without a sense of purpose, he will become emotionally dependent on his partner, expecting her to provide what only his vision can give him. This is why many relationships fail, not because love is absent, but because direction is missing. A relationship is not meant to be a place of self-discovery. It is meant to be a union of two individuals who already know who they are and what they are called to do. When a man lacks purpose, he will rely on his relationship to give him meaning, and this creates an unhealthy dynamic where he is constantly looking for fulfillment outside of himself. A woman cannot give a man his vision. She can support it, strengthen it, and nurture it, but she cannot create it for him. A man must already be walking in his assignment before he invites someone else to walk with him. One of the greatest examples of this truth is seen in the story of Adam. Before Adam was given Eve, he was given work. He was placed in the garden, given responsibilities, and assigned a purpose. Only after he had received his mission did God say it was not good for him to be alone. This is the divine order of life. First, a man must know his purpose, and then he can receive a partner who complements that purpose. If Adam had no assignment, what would Eve have helped him with? If he had no direction, what role would she have played? The same principle applies today. If a man does not have a vision for his life, then what is he asking a woman to follow? A woman does not complete a man, she complements him. She enhances what he is already doing. But if he is doing nothing, then what is there to enhance? Many men today are searching for relationships without first searching for their calling. They want a partner before they have developed themselves. They desire companionship before they have built their character. But a man who does not take time to discover his purpose will not be able to sustain a healthy relationship, because he will constantly feel unfulfilled, restless, and uncertain about where he is going. A relationship should not be an escape from self-discovery. It should not be a way to avoid personal growth. A man must take time to understand who he is before trying to merge his life with another person. He must ask himself deep questions. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What am I called to do? What are my values? What is my vision for the future? If he cannot answer these questions, then he is not ready for a relationship. Because a relationship is not just about emotions, it is about direction. Love is not enough to sustain a partnership if there is no shared vision, no clear goals, and no mutual understanding of where the relationship is headed. A man who has discovered his purpose will approach relationships differently. He will not enter them out of loneliness or pressure from society. He will not rush into them just because he wants companionship. Instead, he will be intentional. He will know what kind of partner aligns with his calling, and he will not settle for someone who distracts him from his mission. Because when a man is walking in purpose, he does not need to chase relationships. He attracts the right ones. The right woman will recognize his vision, respect his leadership, and be willing to support his journey. The key to a successful relationship is not just love, it is alignment. Two people must be headed in the same direction. A woman is designed to be a helper, but if a man has no purpose, then what is she helping with? A woman cannot submit to a man who has no mission. She cannot support a vision that does not exist. This is why purpose must come first. When a man knows who he is, he can lead with confidence. When he understands his calling, he can make wise decisions. When he is secure in his identity, he will not depend on a relationship to give him worth. Many men make the mistake of thinking that a relationship will fix their internal struggles. They believe that love will give them direction, that companionship will solve their feelings of emptiness. But this is a dangerous mindset. No relationship can fill the void of purpose. No woman can provide what only a man's assignment can. If a man does not know who he is, he will enter a relationship searching for something that only his vision can give him. He will become needy, insecure, and unstable because he has not yet built a strong foundation within himself. A man should use his season of singleness to prepare for his future. He should focus on developing his character, sharpening his skills, and deepening his relationship with God. He should invest in personal growth, discipline, and wisdom. Because when the right woman comes into his life, he should already be in motion, already working, already building, already moving toward his destiny. A woman should not have to push a man to find his purpose. She should be able to join him in the journey he has already started. Purpose comes before partnership because purpose defines partnership. A relationship is not just about emotional connection. It is about shared destiny. A man who understands this will not rush into relationships carelessly. He will wait until he is ready to lead, to provide, and to build a future with clarity and direction. Because when a man walks in purpose, everything else, including the right partner, will align in its proper time. A man's identity is the foundation of everything he builds in life, including his relationships. Without a strong sense of who he is, he will struggle to establish meaningful and lasting connections. Identity is not just about knowing a name or a background. It is about understanding purpose, values, and direction. When a man lacks clarity in his identity, his relationships become unstable, built on insecurity rather than confidence. Many people enter relationships without first understanding themselves. They look for a partner to complete them, believing that love will give them a sense of meaning. But no relationship can define a person who has not yet defined himself. A man who does not know who he is will constantly seek validation from others. He will depend on his partner to affirm his worth, which creates an unhealthy dynamic where his happiness and self-esteem are controlled by someone else. This is not love, it is dependency. A healthy relationship is not about filling a void, but about two whole individuals coming together to complement each other. When a man is uncertain about his identity, his relationships will reflect that uncertainty. He may struggle with trust, fearing that he is not enough for his partner. He may become overly possessive, thinking that his worth is tied to whether or not he is in a relationship. He may change himself to please others, losing his authenticity in the process. But true love does not require a man to become someone he is not. It requires him to be secure in who he already is. When a man knows his identity, he does not enter a relationship out of desperation, he enters it out of confidence. One of the biggest mistakes people make is allowing relationships to define them rather than letting their identity define their relationships. If a man does not know who he is before he enters a relationship, he will expect his partner to tell him. He will rely on their opinions, their actions, and their words to shape his self-image. But this is dangerous because people are imperfect, and relying on another person for self-worth leads to disappointment. When identity is rooted in external validation, it becomes fragile. Any conflict, rejection, or moment of doubt can shake it. A strong identity, however, is built on internal conviction rather than external approval. A man who understands his identity is not swayed by circumstances. He does not allow the ups and downs of relationships to determine his self-worth. He knows his values, his strengths, and his purpose, and he brings that certainty into his relationships. He does not need constant reassurance from his partner because he is already secure in himself. This creates a relationship dynamic based on mutual respect rather than emotional dependence. Two people who know who they are can support each other without losing themselves in the process. Many relationships fail because people do not take the time to establish their own identity before seeking a partner. They rush into commitments without first understanding their personal goals, desires, and boundaries. Then, when conflicts arise, they do not know how to handle them because they have not yet built a strong foundation within themselves. A man who lacks identity will struggle with decision-making in a relationship. He will be unsure of what he wants, easily influenced by emotions, and hesitant about commitment. But a man who knows who he is will lead with clarity and conviction. Identity also affects the way a man treats his partner. A man who is insecure in himself may try to control or manipulate his partner to feel more powerful. He may become jealous or resentful, fearing that he is not good enough. But a man who is confident in his identity does not need to dominate or prove himself in a relationship. He is secure enough to love without fear, to trust without suspicion, and to support without insecurity. His identity allows him to give love freely because he is not constantly questioning his own worth. In relationships, identity shapes expectations. A man who knows who he is has clear standards for what he wants in a partner. He does not settle for anything that does not align with his values. He does not compromise on important principles just to maintain a relationship. Instead, he seeks a partner who complements his purpose and shares his vision. But a man who lacks identity may enter relationships without direction, accepting whatever comes his way. He may tolerate mistreatment or settle for someone who does not truly align with his purpose because he does not believe he deserves better. When a man does not understand his identity, he will struggle with consistency. He may behave one way in the beginning of a relationship but change as time goes on. He may try to impress his partner by becoming someone he thinks they want him to be, rather than staying true to himself. This creates instability because a relationship cannot be built on pretense. Eventually, the truth will surface, and if a man has been pretending to be someone he is not, the relationship will crumble. But a man who is grounded in his identity does not change to fit someone else's expectations. He remains true to himself regardless of who he is with. Another danger of entering a relationship without a strong identity is that a man may lose himself in the process. He may become so focused on pleasing his partner that he forgets his own dreams, passions, and purpose. He may sacrifice his individuality for the sake of maintaining the relationship. But love is not about losing oneself. It is about growing together while maintaining individual identity. A healthy relationship consists of two people who bring their full selves into the partnership, not two people who merge into one without distinct purpose. A man's identity also influences how he handles conflict. A man who is uncertain of himself may react to challenges with defensiveness or avoidance. He may take criticism personally, viewing it as a threat to his self-worth. But a man who knows his identity is not easily shaken by disagreements. He can receive feedback without feeling attacked because he is confident in who he is. He does not need to prove himself through arguments or pride. Instead, he focuses on resolving issues with wisdom and understanding. A strong identity allows a man to set healthy boundaries in relationships. He knows what he will and will not tolerate. He does not allow himself to be mistreated or manipulated because he understands his value. A man who lacks identity, however, may struggle to establish boundaries. He may tolerate disrespect because he fears losing the relationship. He may compromise on his principles just to keep the peace. But a man who respects himself will not accept anything less than mutual respect from his partner. Ultimately, relationships are a reflection of identity. A man attracts what he believes he deserves. If he sees himself as valuable, he will attract someone who values him. If he understands his purpose, he will attract someone who aligns with that purpose. But if he is uncertain about who he is, he will attract uncertainty into his relationships. He may find himself in unhealthy situations, drawn to people who reinforce his insecurities rather than uplift his strengths. Before a man can build a strong relationship, he must first build a strong identity. He must take time to understand his purpose, develop his character, and establish his values. He must learn to love himself so that he can love others in a healthy way. When a man is confident in who he is, he does not fear rejection because he knows that his worth is not defined by someone else's acceptance. He does not settle for less than he deserves because he understands his own value. He does not seek relationships out of loneliness, but out of a desire to share his life with someone who complements his journey. Identity is the foundation of everything. When a man knows who he is, his relationships reflect that confidence, security, and purpose. He does not enter them seeking completion, but instead he brings his whole self to the table, ready to build something meaningful and lasting. A man's purpose is the key to attracting the right woman into his life. In a world where relationships are often pursued based on emotions, attraction, or social expectations, many overlook the deeper truth. Purpose is what draws the right partner. When a man is clear on his vision and actively pursuing his calling, he naturally attracts a woman who aligns with that purpose. The right woman is not drawn to mere potential or idle ambition. She is drawn to a man who is walking confidently in his destiny. A woman is designed to be a helper, a supporter, and a nurturer. However, she cannot support what does not exist. If a man has no direction, no goals, and no vision for his life, then what is she supposed to help with? A woman is not looking for a man she has to build from scratch. She is looking for a man who has already begun building himself. This is why a man must establish his purpose before seeking a relationship. If he does not know where he is going, how can he expect someone to follow him? The right woman is not interested in a man who is still searching for himself. She is attracted to a man who has clarity, focus, and determination. A man who is constantly changing his mind, unsure of his goals, and lacking direction will struggle to maintain a meaningful relationship. A woman wants security, and security does not come from wealth or status alone. It comes from a man who knows his purpose. When a man is certain about his calling, he exudes confidence, and confidence is attractive. A man who is driven, disciplined, and passionate about his work will always stand out. A man's purpose gives his life meaning, and that meaning creates an aura of strength and stability. When a man is working towards something bigger than himself, he becomes magnetic. His sense of mission makes him compelling, and his vision makes him inspiring. The right woman does not want a man who is simply existing. She wants a man who is thriving, creating, and making an impact. She does not want to be the reason he wakes up in the morning. She wants to join him on a journey that is already in motion. Many men make the mistake of thinking that they need to pursue a woman before they pursue their purpose. They believe that finding love will give them motivation, direction, and fulfillment. But the truth is, a woman is not meant to be a man's purpose. She is meant to complement it. If a man makes his relationship the center of his life before he has built anything for himself, he risks becoming dependent on that relationship for his identity. This is why so many men lose themselves in relationships. They never had a strong sense of self to begin with. A man who is consumed with purpose does not have to chase the right woman. She will recognize his drive and be drawn to it. He does not need to prove himself through words alone. His actions speak for him. A man who is disciplined in his work, committed to his vision, and passionate about his goals will naturally attract a woman who respects him. Respect is a foundation of love, and a man who lacks purpose will struggle to earn a woman's respect. She may love him, but if he has no direction, she will find it difficult to trust his leadership. The right woman is not interested in distractions or aimlessness. She wants a man who is going somewhere, and she wants to be part of that journey. She is looking for a partner, not a project. A man who is still figuring out his purpose should not be focused on pursuing relationships. Instead, he should be focused on becoming the best version of himself. When he is fully engaged in his purpose, he will naturally align with a woman who shares his values and supports him. When a man prioritizes purpose, he does not settle for just any relationship. He understands that not every woman is right for him, no matter how attractive she may be. He does not allow loneliness to push him into the wrong partnership because he knows that the right woman will come at the right time. A man without purpose is easily swayed by emotions, but a man with purpose is guided by vision. He does not waste time on relationships that do not align with his destiny. Purpose also protects a man from being manipulated or distracted by the wrong influences. When a man is unsure of his mission, he is vulnerable to relationships that pull him away from his true calling. He may become entangled with someone who does not support his growth, someone who discourages his ambitions, or someone who sees him as a source of comfort rather than a leader. But a man who is committed to his purpose will not allow himself to be led astray. He will recognize when a relationship is not serving his destiny and have the wisdom to walk away. The right woman is not intimidated by a man's purpose. She is inspired by it. She does not feel neglected when he is working hard because she understands that his mission benefits both of them. She sees his discipline and respects it. She admires his commitment and wants to be part of it. The wrong woman will demand all of his attention and try to distract him from his goals, but the right woman will encourage him, support him, and push him to become even greater. A man's purpose determines the quality of his relationships. When he is living with intention, he attracts people who share his mindset. He surrounds himself with individuals who uplift, inspire, and challenge him. This includes the woman he chooses to build a life with. A man who is walking in purpose does not fear rejection because he understands that not every woman is meant for him. He does not beg for love or compromise his values to keep someone in his life. Instead, he focuses on his mission, knowing that the right woman will recognize his worth without him having to convince her. Men who chase relationships before pursuing their purpose often end up frustrated. They struggle with feelings of inadequacy, insecurity, and confusion because they have not yet established their own identity. They expect a relationship to provide them with the fulfillment that only purpose can give. But fulfillment does not come from being with someone. It comes from knowing why you were created and living out that mission every day. When a man is fulfilled in his work, he does not enter a relationship from a place of neediness, but from a place of wholeness. The right woman is looking for a man who is already committed to something greater than himself. She wants to know that he has vision, direction, and leadership. She does not want to build his purpose for him. She wants to join him in a purpose that is already in motion. A man must understand that his primary responsibility is to discover and walk in his purpose. When he does this, he will not only attract the right woman, but also build a relationship that is strong, meaningful, and aligned with destiny. In the end, a man who lives with purpose will never have to chase what is meant for him. He will not waste energy trying to impress the wrong people. He will not settle for relationships that do not align with his mission. Instead, he will focus on becoming the man he was created to be, and in doing so, he will attract the right woman at the right time. Purpose is the foundation of everything, and when a man prioritizes it, everything else, including the right relationship, falls into place.